Hi everybody. Today I am getting on to do a cooking video, and I'm going to do it on, I'm making a cheesecake, a homemade cheesecake, and I'm going to make the graham cracker crust and everything. So everything's from scratch. So I wanted to show you guys how I do that. Look at this recipe. This is typed on a manual typewriter, and I got this recipe when I was in junior high, so that's how long I've had it. And then here's my recipe for the cheesecake part of it. So first thing I'm going to do is make the crust. And how I do that is, it calls for 1 package of graham crackers. These are cinnamon graham crackers too, by the way. 1/4 cup of butter that I'm going to melt on the stove. Calls for 1/4 cup of sugar, but I use Truvia, so when you use Truvia, you cut the sugar content in half. So here's half of 1/4 cup. I'm going to use a baggie to crush the graham crackers, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I have kind of a little trick I do with the pie pans too. So first thing I'm going to do is put this on the stove on low heat so that I can get it melting, and then I'm going to crush the graham crackers. And how I do this is I just take the graham crackers out, put them in the baggie. I'm going to move that so I don't spill it. Put them in a Ziploc bag. Doesn't matter if you break them or crush them or whatever, they're going to be crushed anyway, so you can just get them out however you need to. Got my oven preheating to 375. There. Okay, so I kind of break up the big chunks to start with. Okay, then I seal up the bag. And I will tell you, I do use my my Ziploc bags over again. I've shown you guys how I do that, but when I do this, it usually pokes a hole in the bag, so if you can use it over, then I just take my rolling pin and make my own graham cracker crust rather than buy them. This is how I do it. You can bang it. I won't do that because I don't want to have it be loud for you guys, but just kind of move it around so, you know, the small pieces tend to fall to the bottom and the big pieces stay on top. So just shake it up every now and then so that you can get all the pieces the same. I like it fairly fine, so I try to get it pretty fine because I don't want any big pieces in my crust. And you know, think about it. When you buy graham cracker crust in the store, graham cracker crumbs in the store, they're pretty fine. So I just keep rolling until I get to the consistency that I want. Now I also like to use those pre-made graham cracker crusts, but they're a couple bucks a piece, so I don't have any right now, so I'm using what I have. Okay, that's pretty fine. I like the, it's almost powdery, so what I'm going to do is put them in a bowl. I am going to save this bag. I'll wash that out. I'm going to add my sugar. And the butter is almost ready. So it calls for 1/4 cup of butter. which I melt on top of the stove, but you can certainly use your microwave if you so choose. And then I simply add it to the graham crackers and sugar. Try to get every bit that I can. And then just simply mix it all together, you guys. It's going to be a dry, crumbly mixture that will hold together if you actually, you know, put your hand in and you know, squish it together. It will hold together, and that's what you want. But it's pretty basic ingredients and pretty basic. Just stir it up well. Make sure it's all incorporated, and every piece of dry graham cracker does have, you know, just make sure it's all incorporated well. And sometimes I do like to add cinnamon to it. It gives it a great flavor. However, these are cinnamon graham crackers that I'm using, so I don't feel a need to add any extra cinnamon. So I'm ready to put it in my pie crust. In my pie plate. And I'm going to show you guys a trick that I do. I learned years ago. So this is a 8-inch glass pie plate. That's where I'm going to make my pie. I put my graham cracker crumbs in there, and then I squish it down with a smaller 7-inch pie plate. It fits right in there perfectly. And it crushes, it squishes it down into the perfect shape of the pie plate. But I am going to spray that first. I have a tendency when I make homemade pie, homemade graham cracker pie, that the doesn't come out of the pan very well. So I'm going to try spraying it to avoid that. We'll see. Hopefully that helps. You can see it's a pretty fine mixture, you guys. So, you know, try to get it somewhat to the shape of the pan and up the sides a tad bit. You know, kind of start creating that pie, you know, that pie shape. You want to start that going. Get it a little bit started. Okay. Okay, now you just set that right in it. Hope you guys can see this. And you press down. And press as firmly as you can, you guys. There, okay. There, look at that. All you've got to do is wash the 7-inch pie plate. But look, doesn't that make a beautiful pie crust? Flattened it out just the perfect amount of thickness. Up the sides, just exactly how I like it. So I'm going to put this in the oven and bake it for 8 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's cooled. Okay, everybody, so 8 minutes have gone by, and my pie crust is out of the oven. Oh, it smells so good in here. I want to show you guys. It's got the perfect amount of, can you see right around the edges how it's got the perfect amount of crispness, brownness, just started to brown. I will tell you, you should watch it like a hawk when you have it in the oven, because it's fairly dry and it has sugar in it. And the oven is a fairly hot oven, 375, so you want to keep your eye on it. Watch it like a hawk, but that did take 8 minutes at 375. While that's cooling, I've got my cream cheese in here coming to room temperature, because you want your cream cheese at room temperature. So when that's cooled and when this is at room temperature, I'll hop back on and show you how I make the innards. Okay, guys, the pie crust is cool, and now I'm getting ready to make the filling, my cheesecake filling. So the instructions guide me to first beat the cream cheese until it is smooth. So that's what I'm going to do here. So what it calls for is cream cheese, a can of sweetened condensed milk. So I've got right here 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice and a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, I had a friend that went out of the country and bought this vanilla for me in another country. It's very strong. It's like double strength, concentrated. So it calls for a teaspoon, but I'm going to put a half a teaspoon because it's so strong. So half a teaspoon it is. Okay, so now I'm going to add, okay, so now I'm going to stop this and add the sweetened condensed milk. Let's see. While I'm at it, I'm gonna just kind of wipe down the sides of the bowl. I want to make sure I get all the crumbs. I mean, not the crumbs, all of the goodness from the inside there. Just going to wipe down the sides. Okay, so let's give it one more whirl. My instructions, let me just read those. Add sweetened condensed milk and blend thoroughly. So here we go. Okay. Just get some of this scraped down. There we go. I'm going to add my lemon juice and vanilla now. This vanilla smells so good. Okay. Whoa, whoa. Got a little rambunctious there, guys. I'll get it started first. Turn it on high for a second. Make sure it gets all the lumps out. Okay. And just to let you know, guys, this is a no-cook cheesecake. So I do not have to cook this. I like to make sure I get all of the goodness. There. Scrape it all down, guys. You don't want to miss any of that goodness. Okay, so then we just add it to the pie crust. Cooked and cooled pie crust. Nice and creamy. Okay, you guys, look how good that looks. All right, so here we go. Now, my recipe. Now, like I said, this is a no-cook pie, guys. So I just put this in the refrigerator to chill, and then I can top it with whatever I want to top it with. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to give the cheesecake a try, and I thought I'd hop on and show you guys how it came out. So I notoriously have problems taking this pie out of the pie plate when it's my own homemade crust. So you guys, I'm going to do it on camera so I can see, I can show you guys how it's going to come out of the pan. Fingers crossed that it comes out okay. But I do typically have problems taking it out of the pan. So let's see. Yep, it's going to crumble on me. Yeah, it's going to crumble. Okay, well, it's going to come out in pieces. Ah, not too bad. Okay. I'm just going to take my crust that I didn't get. The other pieces should be easier to get out, I would think. There's that. I'll leave that there. It came out good. It has good texture to it. And my fruit that I had carefully cut up. All right, you guys. So what do you think? What do you think, guys? Does that look like worth eating or not? Look how delicious that looks. All homemade. Some of it from the food pantry, some of it from my own pantry. But completely 100% homemade. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed.